Good morning, learners. Welcome to Lesson 30, Session 1. We are beginning a couple of lessons that are going to be all about shapes. So we are going to explore categories of shapes. Now, categories are kind of like groups. So we can take our shapes and group them into different ways. That means we're going to put them in different groups based on what they look like. Okay. How do sides and angles help you name and group shapes? Look at that. They even use the word groups for categories. Now, remember, we know what sides are. So if I have a square, we know that the side is one of these, right? It's the width or the length. That is a side. The angles are in the corners or the vertices. So this is an angle right here. We call those angles, I'm going to draw it like geometry math people do. There we go. There's an angle. We kind of make a curve like that. I don't know if you could quite see it. And then in a triangle, this is also a side, and this is an angle, right? And we call it a triangle because there are three angles. 1, 2, 3. This is a triangle because there's three. Okay, so today when we work on our lessons, we are going to be just modeling it. They don't actually give us a problem at the beginning like the other ones did. So let's go ahead and read through page 677 together. Complete the problems below. One way to name shapes or to group shapes that are alike in some way is by the number of sides. So when we look at shapes, we look at the number of sides. For example, this shape has 3 sides. Notice it's got 1, 2, 3 sides. Write the name of this shape. What is it? You're right. It is a triangle. Tri means 3. And we know that an angle is this. 1, 2, 3. Another way to group shapes is by the lengths of their sides. You can use a ruler to measure the sides of the shape. So if it helps to have your ruler out, you can have your ruler out. But remember, we're not actually measuring specifically. We're just looking at which ones have the same sides. Okay. You can use a ruler if you need to. Okay, A. Well, first, before I start reading, I'm going to look at all these shapes. What do I notice about these shapes? I notice this one has 3 sides. I notice that this one has 5 sides. What do we notice about their shapes, though? Are they the same length or are they different lengths? That was my puppy dog shaking or itching. Okay, so look at the lengths of all of these sides. Which ones are the same? Which ones are different? In A, write N on the shapes above with no side lengths the same. So we're going to look for N, or shapes that have no side lengths that are the same. Can you find some? Well, it looks like these two are the same, so we can't do that one. It looks like these 2 sides right here are the same. What about this one? Well, that one looks to be shorter than this one, and this one's definitely the longest, and this one's definitely the shortest, so I think this one's an N. No sides have the same length. What do we notice about this one? These 2 are the same. These 2 are the same. How about this? Ooh, that's the short side, that's the medium side, that's the long side. So there we have 3 different sizes. That's an N. Oh, and in this one, what do we notice about the sides? They're all the same. Okay, so we're done with A. B, write S on the shapes above with some side lengths the same length. Which ones have some? This one has some, right? Because these are 2 that are the same length, but this one's not. So this is an S. I'm thinking about this one. Maybe we need a ruler on this one. I notice that's about a 1/2 inch. That one's about a 1/2 inch. That one's about a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. So this one has all of them the same. Okay, so it's not that one. Are some of the same on this one? Yeah, these 2 are the same, but they're not the same as this one. These 2 sides. These are longer. These are shorter, but some of them are the same. So we're going to put an S. How about our square? Oh, they're all the same. I bet that's our next step. Okay, in C, write A on the shapes above with all sides the same length. If all sides are the same length, let's put an A. Well, we measured this one. We know that one's an A. And we know a square has all four sides the same. Okay. Now, number 3. Opposite sides in a quadrilateral do not touch. Ooh, quadrilateral. Do you know what a quadrilateral is? Okay, quad, this word right here, quad, means 4 sides. It means 4. So that means that we are looking at shapes with 4 sides. Say quadrilateral. Let me say it again. Quadrilateral. Quadrilateral. That's a hard word to say. Quad means 4, so we are looking at shapes with 4 sides. Now, opposite sides in a quadrilateral do not touch. So notice this is a quadrilateral. Notice that these 2 sides don't touch. And these sides don't touch. They are called opposite sides. Circle the shapes below that have opposite sides the same length. That means they're opposite of each other and they're the same length. So our quadrilateral here does have opposite sides that are the same length. How about this side? Well, these are opposite. These aren't touching, but are they the same length? Nope. So we're not going to circle it. How about this one? Do you notice this length right here is the same length as this? These are opposite sides. They do not touch. And they are the same length. So we're going to go ahead and circle that. This also had these sides. Notice this side is the same length as this side. And they're opposite because they don't touch. Okay, our rectangle. This side is opposite this side. And they are the same length. I also notice that this side is the same length as this side. And they are opposite because they don't touch. So it meets our rule. How about this one? Do we have opposite sides? Well, this side, I guess you could say is opposite of this side, but they're not the same length. So we're not going to circle that one. Okay, turn your paper over. Model it. Complete the problems below. You can also use the number and type of angles or corners to name and shape or group shapes. Angles that look like corners of a square are called right angles. Shapes can have no right angles, some right angles, or all right angles. Okay, that was a lot of information. So let's read through this again and look at our picture here and see what they're talking about. You can also use the number and type of angles or corners to name and group shapes. I like that they told me that angles are like corners. Angles, and let's look at our picture. Where's our angles? We've got an angle here, an angle, an angle, an angle, and an angle. How many angles are in this shape? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Angles that look like corners of a square are called right angles. Notice that they've pointed to 2 right angles here for us. You know how you can always tell a right angle? I'm going to use my ruler. Notice on a paper, it's got a corner, right? That's a right angle. And notice that I could slip this right in there and you see how it fits? That's a right angle. So when you can take the corner of a paper and slide it into the angle and it fits, it matches the edges, then that means it is a right angle. So they've told us this is a right angle and this one is a right angle. When you get into big math in middle school, they're going to tell you a right angle. You mark it by making this little square. Okay, shapes can have no right angles, some right angles, or all right angles. What about this shape? Does this have no right angles? Nope, it's got 2. Does it have some right angles? Yes, it does. It has 2. These 3 are not. Is it all right angles? Nope, only 2. Okay, so now let's look at our work. A, tell how many angles each shape below has. Okay, let's count the angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has 4 angles. How about our shape here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one has 7 angles. That's cool. Okay, how about this one? Remember, it's a triangle. That gives you a hint. 1, 2, 3. Triangle has 3 angles. Okay, in B, Tell how many right angles each shape below has. Okay, so I notice that there's 1, 2, 3 angles. Which one can we slide the paper in to see if it's a right angle? That one is. So I'm going to put a little check mark. Can I do it to this one up here? No, it doesn't match. Notice one side matches, but the other side does not. And same with this one down here. If I try, I can't even try to, there we go. I can get one side to match, but I can't get the other side to match. So this one only has 1. Let's look at our rectangle here. How many angles do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can use the edge of my ruler. Notice it slides right in. Notice it matches on both sides. So this is a right angle. Is this one a right angle? Let's slide it in there. It is. What do you think about those two? They are also right angles. How many do we have? We have 4. You can check with your ruler if you'd like. Okay, how many right angles are in this shape? Notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 angles. Now I'm going to try and lay my ruler. Can I get my corner into there? Well, notice it matches this side, but it doesn't match on that side. So this one is not a right angle. How about this one? Nope. How about that one? Nope. What I notice is all of these angles are about the same shape. They're just not right angles. So this one has 0. Okay, reflect. What are some of the ways you can name or group shapes? What did we do today to name or group shapes? If you can, pause and write down, what did we do? Then come back and get your answers. Okay, we counted the number of sides to put them in groups. We counted the number of angles to put them in groups. We looked at the lengths of their sides to put them in groups. And we also looked at the number of right angles to put them in groups. Okay, so at this point we are done with my part. You are going to start working on your independent part. You'll work on page 679, and remember they always have you in the first lesson write down what you know from the lesson. So fill in the information as much as you can, and then go ahead and answer the questions on the rest of the page. Go and watch video number 2 when you're done.